on now to our game of the day. We are back for some of our favorite MACtion action. All lines are according to FanDuel Sportsbook. We've got first up Western Michigan Broncos 6-4 at Eastern Michigan Eagles 6-4. Who will take home the Michigan MAC trophy? We shall see. Both teams are 3-3 in conference play and tied for last in the MAC West. Western Michigan is favored by 6.5 as of now. The total for this one is 66.5. Arky, how are you playing this game?
Boy, so this feels like a pretty interesting matchup tonight because, again, we have another three-peat of MACtion tonight, and I love it. I love it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love it. I
Our
love
fave.
it. Yeah, it's really great football when you think about it. If you have lost it watching some NBA recently, watch some MACtion. I'm a big college football guy, and MACtion is thoroughly entertaining throughout the week. I love the sport, and I love this particular conference this time of year. And so if we sort of look at the totals, the 66.5 is a big, giant number, but totals are at 8-3 in the last 2 weeks on the over. That is a really, really good stretch for those totals. And that includes totals that are in the 70s, by the way, which we had one of those last week that we bet the over and won. Thank you, Kent State Golden Flashes. But this game's a little bit different. This game features a pretty interesting Western Michigan team heading to Eastern Michigan. And Eastern's coming off a big disappointing loss last week at home to Ohio. And Ohio is not a very good team. We'll talk about them coming up in just a minute. But Eastern Michigan was in a matchup last week that they should have been able to pull out and to win and to give themselves a better chance to try to win that division title. Well, now they're out of it, so that we don't have to talk about that. But we do have to talk about the rush defense for Eastern Michigan, who gave up 295 yards last week on the ground.
Woo!
295 last week to Ohio. Remember, this is 3-win Ohio we're talking about. 3 wins.
Yeah, they're not good.
Ohio. They ran for 295 on them last week. Eastern Michigan gives up 195 on the ground, but guess what Western Michigan does? They run they run for 195 on their own too. So it's a very interesting matchup there. I think we're going to see a lot of running from Western Michigan because I think you're right at the teeth of that team and the biggest weakness that they have. And I don't like the total. I would lean under, but man, there's something in my heart that doesn't want to take an under in a MACtion game in early in the week. So I'm not going to want to root for that. But I will take the road team in this scenario, and I will take the Western Michigan team to be able to win and cover the 6.5. I think they win by probably 10 points tonight. It feels like that kind of game for Western Michigan and the Broncos. I think they do eventually pull away from Eastern Michigan, and God bless Chris Creighton and what he's done so far for that team. They're already bowl eligible for a fourth time in 7 years, I should say. That's a good job by them, but I really feel like tonight is a Western Michigan night.
I think I just figured out what your nickname is, Mr. MACtion.
I'll take that.
Okay.
That. I'm Mr. MACtion.
Mr. MACtion.
That's right.
Okay, well, I'm actually going to do the complete opposite of you. I know that I know the visiting team is favored here, but the Broncos have failed to cover the spread by at least 20 points in each of their last 3 games, and they're 1-4 on the last 5. They barely got past Akron last weekend, 45-40, after being the 26-point favorites. So, not great. Cincinnati transfer Ben Bryant has been huge for the Eagles at quarterback. He's completed 69.7% of his passes and has thrown for over 300 yards in 3 of his last 4 games. Meanwhile, the Broncos' weapon of choice is running back Sean Taylor, who has had 137 carries on the season for 837 yards and 7 touchdowns. These two teams are pretty evenly matched, so I'm going to lean with the home team in this rivalry game. By the way, if Eastern Michigan can get it done, it'll be the first time since 1989 that they would have won 7 of their first 11 games. So let's make some history tonight. Give me Eastern Michigan at home in this in-state rivalry showdown, plus 6.5. Oh, and also, as far as the total, it's high, but as we know, the MAC likes to go big. So I would lean the over in tonight's contest, but I'm going to stick with the spread at plus 6.5.
So we got to root against each other tonight in MACtion, huh?
We sure do.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's fair. You can fade or follow either one of us, people, if you're watching. But I'll tell you this. I like the other side.
Okay, that's fair. All's fair in sports.
But you know what?
Something like that.
I think we all should root for the over, though, to be fair. I think the over is the fun play.
I agree with you there.